you know, you're clonking around in this spacesuit and
feeling
you're
really
feeling
goofy.
like a bit stupid, like, what am I doing?
How the hell did the Resolute get us here?
It's impossible, according to every law of physics.
Hi, you two. What were your first thoughts when you heard about Netflix doing a remake of Lost in Space?
Well, I think the first I heard about it was when they sent a script through of the first episode for me to look at, and I was aware of it in pop culture, but I hadn't watched it when I was a child. I'd seen glimpses of it, so I knew that it was about Swiss Family Robinson, but set in space, and that there was a robot and Dr. Smith and this. And in my memory, there was this very idealized apple pie family in the middle of this situation. So when I read the script, from the start, it was very compelling because it goes straight into, first of all, you're straight in the family, and then this family, you know, is in peril and it's crashing in this, and you're thrown right into it. But what quickly became apparent was that this family was not an ideal family. It was a real family, and it had nuanced, sophisticated relationships that were not dysfunctional in a really dark and depressing way, but in just in a way that all families have their own dysfunctions, and it felt very real. These both Maureen and John and their kids, the relationships felt real and something that I could relate to as a parent and a husband, and hopefully families who watch this will relate to both as kids, but adults will also look at it and go, yeah, that kind of feels like a real family that I can identify with.
I mean, very similar. I also hadn't seen the original, and I had very similar feelings as to what Toby said about the family. I also really liked the fact that in the imagining of this show, it's 30 years in the future, and all the women in the show are really strong and capable, and they're not, I mean, they're flawed and complicated, and everybody has their problems, but I think these writers have imagined a future in which there's no question that the women can do any job that the men can do, so that it's not even an issue. They don't even talk about it. It's just assumed that both of these parents are capable. And I love that. And I have an 11-year-old boy, and I was excited to do something that he would be able to watch, because in probably 25 years I really haven't done much that he can see, but also that a kid could watch with their parents, because it's sort of sophisticated enough that, you know, you'd be interested. It's not just a kid's show.
You mentioned already, you've been in a lot of historical dramas before. What are the differences now, being in a sci-fi show, like on set and maybe with the costumes and everything? Is it more stressful or less stressful?
You know, what's interesting, and I think this is appropriate and right, is that, you know, there is no difference, really. It's just the costumes have changed, and the sets are a bit, you know, they're just different, you know. Instead of me being on some, you know, 18th century ship, I'm now on a, you know, futuristic ship. But it's as, for me, Toby, it's just as bizarre. Do you know what I mean? Either one is like weird. But you have to make it your reality, and that's the fun about doing our job. What made it a lot easier for us is that we had children who were on set who are just so, you know, they have such a facility to play. And that was infectious, you know, because, I mean, you know, inevitably, you know, you're clonking around in this spacesuit and you're
really
feeling
goofy.
like a bit stupid, like, what am I doing? And these kids are just hopping around going, yeah, you know, this is great,
so
you know,
Yeah.
Last question, we always ask at the end, what are your favorite TV shows at the moment? Apart from Lost in Space, of course.
Oh, goodness. What am I watching? I've just been watching Alias Grace, which I really appreciate, and
I've just been watching Mindhunter, which I'm enjoying, and you know, and also
The Queen. I really liked The Queen. Just the performances were so good.
Yeah, and also Curb Your Enthusiasm. Watching the last season of that, which I really enjoy as well.
The Robinsons stick together.
Be safe out there. You don't know what you might find.
I like your boots.
They're a little dirty, I'm sorry.
Oh no, don't be sorry.